Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio. 7 Mile Radio.
Peace. What's up, revolutionary wealth builders? I hope all is well. Peace to Facebook, peace to Instagram, peace to YouTube, peace to all of the social media platforms that my chair was doing something crazy. Peace to all the platforms that that follow us. Today we're gonna have a real powerful show as usual, and actually me and the super producer Mark was talking, and we were gonna go in one direction with the show. Then immediately through a conversation, we came to the conclusion that we were gonna pivot and do something a little different.
But I think we can actually blend, the first topic into the second one. We can find some segues to make them connect.
Absolutely. Well, that's the goal. And so, but yeah, we bringing this new information to you guys today, though. So today, the title of today's show is Your Job versus Your Dreams. But initially, we were going to be discussing how you can avoid, or the pathology of being broke, how you can avoid that mindset and avoid being that way. And a lot of it is about thought and the things that we value and the things that we covet. And so, but we're gonna figure out a way to make sure that we have that conversation in the midst of all of this. But your job versus your dreams. So I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna go holler at my man for a second. A job should be a last resort for any human being. The last resort should be for you to work for another human being. And if you have to work for another human being every single day that you commit 8 hours to that human being or that company, you should be committing at least 50% of the time of that time to building something for yourself and your family. And so I want you guys to think about that while I go holler at my man, the super producer, 7 Mile Mark. What's going on with you, fam?
And what's the word with you, good brother?
Man, you just got back from Dallas.
Yeah, you did say you was going on a trip. How was the trip?
Oh, man, I had a good time. I had a ball.
That's what's up. Getting ready for first 48.
It was a much needed rest. I had an opportunity to have some me time, just secluded in my Airbnb room alone, not talking to nobody for hours on end,
So
doing some
You went by yourself?
Well, no, I didn't go by myself. I had my people with me. Me and my people, we went together. Okay. But I was able to, I had, my own personal space. I had a room in the back of the Airbnb. And so I was able to just be alone and be with my thoughts for a minute, think about some things and, kind of regather my bearings. And so it was a good time. For me, it was therapeutic. And it was being in the airport alone, you know what I'm saying, with my thoughts. I put my headphones on and it gave me an opportunity to just, think. What's going on with you, sis? And so, yeah, I want everybody who come on today, I want them to tag somebody that they know, because this conversation is going to be real heavy. But getting back to Dallas, it was a good time. Detroit was heavy in Dallas. They were definitely in the building. And you're right, first 48 is coming up. And so if you haven't got your tickets to the party, and all are invited, all my people, especially my Facebook people, y'all need to be at this party, because we don't get an opportunity to chop it up with one another too often. And so y'all need to be at this first 48 extravaganza. We're going to get it in. And so you guys know it's on November 12th. I'm out delivering tickets today. And I'll be delivering tickets up to about to my birthday, November the 9th. So on my birthday, I'm going to be partying on the actual day. And then you got the 10th and the 11th. I'm going to be recovering from the party and then getting ready recovering from having a good time on the 9th. And then on the 11th, I'm going to be preparing for the 12th. So don't expect me to be delivering tickets. Don't be expecting me to be delivering tickets on the 10th and the 11th. I'm telling y'all right now, that window is going to be closed by that time. So let's get that knocked out on the front end. First 48 theme, downtown venue, free drinks while they last. And we're going to have a comedian. How can you not be here and party with your mans for a good cause All of the proceeds go to the Milestones Agency in Metro Detroit. So, I mean, how can you not come get it in for a good cause with your peoples? So, First 48, call me, 313-444-2055, or inbox me or comment below so I'll know that you want to connect with me so you can grab a ticket.
That. And I will be in the building filming for the brother.
Oh, and 7 Mile Radio going to be in the building. So, so if 7 Mile Mark is what, if you trying to catch up with him, because you're a busy man, you trying to catch up with him, he going to be in the building.
And I'm always somewhere where something important is going on, right? I'm always where the action is. So
Absolutely.
if I'm going to be at this brother's party, you probably need to be there too.
Absolutely. And so for today's show, my goal is to make sure that our people are not giving up on their dreams in lieu of having to work for the rest of their life. I'm going to tell you some things that I see that bother me a lot. And this is no disrespect to anybody, but it bothers me sometimes. I don't like to see 70-year-old men doing landscaping, picking up lawnmowers and all of that. And I'm explaining to you why. First of all, it is my goal and it is my desire that a 70-year-old black king has put so much work in on the front end that he is able to sit back and enjoy his wife and his grandchildren and the fruits of his labor by the time he's 60 or 70 years old. And if you don't put the correct work in when you're young, you'll still be working when you're old. And that's what I want to avoid for us. I want us to really teach our children to go after their dreams so you'll never work a real day in your life. But one of the things that I don't like to see older men, real old men, doing jobs that 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old boys should be doing. Because when you do these jobs, you are taking an opportunity from one of the younger kids. And that goes for some of the more basic service jobs. When you are working in basic service and you are up in age and you 65, 70, you working in basic service, those are jobs that 20, 21, 22-year-olds could be getting worldly experience at so they can continue to follow their dreams when they get older. I call it the aging out process. And essentially what I would like to see is that the old heads have accomplished all they need to accomplish and they're providing opportunities for the young heads. But the old heads, because they blew their younger years with foolishness in some instances, not all, they find themselves in situations where they have to take opportunities from the young heads. Then the young heads are running the street, end up having to sell pills or not working at all. But I want to redefine what the importance of a job actually is. In my opinion, a job is something that a young people need to embark upon the job experience so they can get real world and worldly experience on understanding a bank account, understanding payroll, understanding service, understanding how the world works, and meeting people. But optimally, we want to provide job opportunities for our children. One of my daughters do a little bit of work for me, not much, but she does a little bit of work for me from time to time. My other daughter, who owns her own business, I support her business. And then my wife has provided job opportunities for our children on a number of occasions. And so what we try to do as a family is we try to first keep the money in-house. But then also try to provide our children with real world experience as to sticking to a schedule, being on time. And all of these things are a part of what the Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson was actually about. What Carter G. Woodson was describing in the Miseducation of the Negro, if you ever read it early in like chapter 2 or chapter 3, he was describing why mathematics and arithmetic was very important for black kids. And what his argument was is that black kids get less mathematics and white kids get more mathematics in school, when in reality it should be the reverse, because white kids have an opportunity to go do real world mathematics business at their parents' store. and black kids don't have an opportunity to be a cashier or work in the store or be the stock boy in their family's store because the family doesn't own a business. And so they need more mathematics because they're not getting the real world mathematics in conjunction with the educational mathematics, if you follow what I'm saying. So that was Carter G. Woodson's argument in the miseducation of the Negro. And that's a very important dynamic. We don't provide our children with real world business experience to the extent that they start thinking about becoming a business owner. So my son walked into we were going into the jewelry store. I was going to get my watch cleaned and getting a new battery put in my watch where I bought it from, the jewelry store. And my son walked in the jewelry store and he said, I want a chain. He said, I want a gold chain. I said, well, your mother had bought you a gold chain. I'm not buying you one, because I know that you're not going to take care of it. And we didn't come here to spend no money. We're not spending no money with these people today. I just came to get my watch clean. So we're not coming to do business with them because we don't need to do business with them because we're not in the market for jewelry. That's not what we're here for. And he said, well, what I can do is I can own my own jewelry store. That way I don't have to pay for my jewelry. And the owner, one of these people who were working in the store behind the counter was like, looked at him and shook his head like, that's the way that you think. You have to train your children to think about owning things. All my son talks about is, well, I'm just going to own this business so I can do this. I'm just going to own this building business so I can do that. I'm just going to own this business so I can do that. That way I don't have to do this. He never talks about, yeah, when I get this job, I'm going to go do that.
He's in his mind, he's already a producer, not a consumer.
Exactly.
He's thinking about being a producer and producing these things that I need or want, as opposed to investing into somebody else's pocket who may have it.
Exactly. And now let me be clear. I know our people, we have put ourselves in a position where we have to earn a living. We have to work, and we all work to some capacity. So I'm not poo-pooing on having a job. I want you to start another business with your job. I want you to put as much money. Hey, Kim, I want you to put your time into a side hustle, whether that's selling dinners, whether that's pruning plants, whether that's selling flowers. But I want you to just find one more hustle for yourself. Do something for yourself. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying don't work, but everybody has something that they wanted to do, a dream. So if you're working already, then on the weekends, if you're not working, try to rearrange your schedule where you can be a daycare for 2 days out of the week, or you can be a daycare in the evenings, if that's what you want to do. Have a daycare room and have 3 or 4 kids on your caseload where you take care of 3 or 4 kids. You teach them their ABCs, you feed them, you teach them things, and it's like school or whatever, and you work your job. But your job versus your dream. You have to give your dream and your entrepreneurial endeavors at least half of the time that you give your job. Everybody feel me? And so I'm never poo-pooing on the people who work, because a real man and a real woman is going to do what they need to do to provide for their family. And I have nothing but the utmost respect for that. But what I want us to start thinking about is teaching our children to never work for other people, at least once they become of age. We'll let them work for people early on because we want them to gain real world life experience. And we want them to learn how to get their hands dirty, and we want them to learn how business and finance and commerce kind of operates. But we don't want to put ourselves in a position where we have to work for somebody. Have you ever been on the phone with one of your homegirls and then they say, I do not want to go to work? And I say, use this example all the time. I do not want to go to work. And then you might say, well, then don't go. And they say, I have to. I have to because I got to pay these bills and all of that. And so we okay with working, but we want to avoid being a debt slave, and we want to avoid being a wage slave. You don't understand what I'm saying? And so how do we avoid that? The first thing we have to do is we have to pay ourselves 10% first. No matter what is going on in the world, you have to pay yourself 10% of your income first before you pay anybody else. Think about it. Don't you deserve to be paid first? You did the work. Pay yourself before you pay DTE. Pay yourself before you pay your mortgage. Pay yourself before you pay Infinity. Pay yourself before you pay your cell phone bill. So in a week, if you pay weekly and you make $1,000 a week, pay yourself $100 a week. Period. This is what you're gonna find out. Read The Richest Man in Babylon. The first rule of building a fat purse is to pay yourself 10% per week. I guarantee you it works, and I'm gonna show you how. Do you realize that psychologically your mind doesn't know the difference between getting paid 1,000 and getting paid 900? You will not skip a beat. You will not lose anything by paying yourself 10%. You won't even realize it's gone. Put it somewhere where you can't see it until it's time to do what you need to do with it. You'll know what you need to do with it when the time comes. But pay yourself 10% of everything that you earn. That's rule number one. And the reason why that is so important is because as you do it, you won't even realize that you even put it up. It'll just continue to accumulate. Rule number two, at some point in time, you're going to take that money that you saved and you're going to invest it in something, preferably early on yourself. Invest it in yourself. And by investing it in yourself, what I mean is this: buy the work truck, set the room up for it to be a daycare with the money that you saved. Buy all the toys and the things you need to set the room up for advertisement. Buy all of the materials that you need to start your little mini catering business. Buy all the materials you need to do hair. My youngest daughter does hair. She does braids. Anytime she want to hustle, she can hustle. My middle child, she sings and she promotes herself in the industry. She does hooks. She's doing her thing. Little mini.
That's me, my bad.
Oh, okay, cool. And so our children, for the most part, understand the importance of starting your own business. And of course, my oldest daughter owns Hunter Closet, Hunter Inc., a clothing company that sells some of the most highest quality clothing you'll ever buy. So the whole goal is to, even if we are not that in which we want to see in ourselves, we have to make sure we teach our children. Does everybody follow what I just said? Even though we are not that in which we want to see in ourselves, we have to teach our children to be that in which we would like to see in ourselves. And again, I'm not poo-pooing on the working man and the working woman, because at some point we all have to work. But I want to pivot real quick, and I want to talk about these people who they naturally just default to, if a person needs something, they need to go get a job. Or if a person is not getting up, going to work every day, that they must be a bum, they must be in the street, they must be hustling, or whatever the case may be. I want you guys to start thinking in reverse. Having to go wake up in the morning and go to a job that you don't want to go to, that's the wrong thing to do. The right thing to do is to figure out a way to build an empire without having to work for other people. The right thing to do is to figure out ways to build income streams without having to allocate 8 hours of your day to somebody else. The right thing to do is to figure out how to set yourself up to where you have passive income coming in, where you don't have to get up and go to work for somebody else. It's going to be very rare that you hear somebody say, I want to get up and go to work today at this job working for this man, working for the man, or working for this corporation. Most people don't want to do that, but they have to. And I respect that and I understand it. Do what you got to do, but always be in search of your dream. You're never too old to fulfill, to go after your dreams. There is no such thing. So your job versus your dreams. And something else we do is we stop dreaming. We think we become too old to dream, but you're never too old to stop dreaming. You should always dream, and dream big. Your dreams should be things that don't even seem possible. Like what I'm on right now, the thing that I'm getting ready to do, if I would have told a person what I'm getting ready to do and I've already started with phase 1, they would say, man, that's okay. They would say, good luck with that. Your dreams should be so big that the average person don't believe that it can be done. That's when you know you on to something. Let me think about this for a minute. Now, we know that black people have invented almost everything on the planet. And that's crazy because that's a true statement.
It's true.
But I need to use somebody that, so we know that Lewis Latimer was the person who really created the light bulb, right? Mm-hmm. And not Thomas Edison.
Not Thomas Edison at all.
But let's use Thomas Edison for an example. Let's say Thomas Edison, because that's what people know, Detroit Edison. Let's say that Thomas Edison did create the light bulb. And he said, I want to be able to flick a switch and lights come on when they had candles. People would look at him and say, what? Are you crazy? Flick a switch and then lights come on in a place? That doesn't even make sense. Now, we know that the first blueprints for an airplane were actually an architectural design for an airplane was created by Leonardo da Vinci, who was actually is a descendants of Africans. So, but let's say that the Wright brothers did invent flight, built the first plane. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. They were actually from
Germany, wasn't it?
well, no, they were from Ohio. They were actually from Ohio, but Hubert Heights, Ohio. Wright State is named after the Wright brothers, which is in Hubert Heights, Ohio, and so they're from that area or whatever. The Dayton area, there's Dayton, Hubert Heights, and all of that is all in the same area. So they kind of like from that area, and but let's say that they said we want to get into an apparatus. We want to get into a machine that flies up in the air and can take you from Los Angeles to New York in 5 hours. People would say they are insane at that time.
Right.
So it's important that you understand that your dreams have to sound crazy. Your dreams must sound crazy. So don't ever say, if you say to yourself, I can't do that, that's the dream you want. The dream you want is, I can't do that. Like I got a blueprint of something that I'm going to design that I look at it and say, I don't know how the hell we getting ready to do this.
But we're gonna do it.
That's the one we gonna do.
Only thing that makes something impossible is the fact that it haven't been done yet.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And my philosophy on everything is, people say, do you play the piano? No, but I can. Because if I see somebody else do it, I can do it. That's my favorite line. If I see somebody else do it, I can do it. Because that's all I need to do is see somebody else do it. I've done things that I never thought I could do. I've laid carpet. I've drywalled my living rooms. I've done things. I've hung drywall. I've done things that people would never believe that I've done with these hands. And not because I wanted to. It was because I had to do it. We are capable of anything. I've replaced parts on my car. You know what I'm saying? I've done things that the average person would say, yeah, he ain't finna get that done. Let me think about something that I've done. Oh, look. Check this out. My firstborn child, I delivered her myself in a cab. No hospital or doctor nowhere in sight. Inside a cab. So dig that. I delivered her myself, just like you see on TV. I took her mother's underwear off, told her that she said the baby is coming. When my baby's head started to come out, I told her to push. And once my baby's shoulders came out, I put my fingers up under her shoulders blades and told her to push, push, push. She came out with a whole bunch of other stuff. I wrapped my I wrapped my oldest child up in my coat, stayed close to her because the umbilical cord was still connected until we got to the hospital. Facts. So we are capable of anything. Anything. There is nothing that we can't do. So when you think about your job versus your dreams, give yourself more credit. You are capable of accomplishing more than you realize. But this is the biggest mistake parents make with their kids. They tell their kids everything under the sun about following directions, do the right thing, washing dishes, but they never tell their children to be great. They never say one of your number one jobs is to dream big and be great. If you bring your kids to the Milestones Agency of Metro Detroit, one of the first things I tell the boys is dream bigger than you want to work for somebody. Dream big. Don't work. College is cool, but dream big. Have a dream so big that people think you crazy. I tell my son all the time, be great. My son is a phenomenal young man, and he plays baseball. He's so good that it's almost right now guaranteed that he will get some form of a scholarship when he goes to high school, when he goes to college. It's almost a lock guarantee that he can play the game at the highest level. All he has to do is continue to do what he's doing. But what I tell him all the time is, it's a difference between being good at something and being great. Your job is to always be great. Your job is to be the greatest to do anything. But you must at least seek to be great in everything that you do. Have great grades. Have great manners. Have great ambition. You know what I'm saying? Have a great work ethic. Be great.
You have to have standards for yourself.
Exactly. And you train your kids and you use these words. Use the words entrepreneur and greatness around your kids at all times. And always emphasize the importance of building your own. And that's how you avoid that's how you can avoid having to ever worry about money. Because if you follow your dreams, you'll never worry about money for two reasons. The psychology of dream chasing minimizes the importance of money. And then when you are an entrepreneur, you are so focused and locked in on building your dreams and building your business that money is only a tool to continue to grow things. And once the money starts coming in, you'll already be conditioned to only use money as a tool to continue to grow things. And then you always will have money at your disposal. But if you get up every day and you only work to make money to spend it for the rest of your life, you will always have to work because you'll always have to spend money. So you'll always be working for somebody else because you're always spending all of your earnings on things. And when you get into that space, there is no money to invest. There is no money to grow anything where you can even feed a dream. And that's why it's important to put a lot of emphasis on your dreams, and you just use the job to fund the dream. Does everybody follow that? That makes sense to everybody?
Absolutely. That's how I started this platform, working at a fast food restaurant for a couple of years.
You know what?
Getting the equipment that I needed, and the rest is history.
Absolutely, for sure. And look at what you've built. You've built something that monetizes itself. I want you to talk about real quick on how people have been responding to your GoFundMe campaign. But before you do that, let me explain something. So we're in the process of raising funds so we can get a building. So we had a building, and we started a fundraising campaign to rehab the building, but the building flooded. And the building flooded out. So we had to pivot and sell the building because the amount of work that it was going to take in order to get the building right, we weren't ready. So now we are embarking upon another endeavor to get a building, and then we're going to take that building, and we took all the donated funds to go toward the purchase of the new building, and then we're going to get the building right, and we're going to turn the building into the first Survivor Success and Leadership Training Institute. When I tell people to contribute to the fundraiser, come to the party, or contribute to things, it's not that we need the money per se, it's that I want the community to be a part of what we're building. You need to make an investment in what we're doing for your kids. You feel me? And so what you're doing, people need to understand the importance of providing this platform of media to the community, and they need to invest in that because they're not doing it. But by investing in it, they become a part of it. And so now explain to what people have been saying while you're creating this campaign.
I just had a thought to myself where if I had you just spoke on a building, right? Having a building for your business, and I'm thinking, okay, if I had a building in my horizons, which I do in my crosshairs, and they cost a certain amount of money, if I just so happen to have enough followers on social media that has been following my platform for years, right, and supporting me by way of, for one, sending donations, sharing the content, just appreciating the work that's being done out here in the streets doing independent journalism, and you reach out to these people, and actually the thought came from PBS, right, the network where at the end of the show they say, this station depends on the support from its viewing audience, and if you can send a donation to keep the platform going, blah 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 blah. So I'm an independent platform. I'm an independent black platform that has accumulated a lot of followers to the tune of over 100,000 followers just on one social media platform alone.
Right.
Right. I've accumulated. I've won 5 awards. I've got all kind of accolades. Like I said, been on all kind of media outlets, and then you reach out to your supporters and say, hey, everybody send me $1 to go towards this goal that I have. If you support, keyword, if you support the platform, send $1 to my Cash App or PayPal, and I'll be getting 98% of all love and support. But of course, it's some snakes in the grass out there. So it's a couple of people. One person told me maybe you should get a job like the rest of us. I got this screenshot right there on the screen for. Why don't you get a job like the rest of us? Why don't you have a fundraiser? Why don't you sell dinners? Why don't you sell popcorn? Why don't you do this, do that? Mind you, all the whole time I do have a web store where people can buy merchandise. I have. Like I said, the donation campaigns and whatnot, but people would rather me divert away from my original craft.
Your dream to go get a job. They want you to walk away from the dream to go get a job. When the dream is actually providing a good income stream, but you're asking the community to partner with you in growing it.
The community that I'll go ahead and say benefits from the content, that it appreciates, I'll say that appreciates the content that I produce and that I publish. I'm asking them to partner with me, and yes, as you said earlier, asking you to be a part of this thing that I'm building. That you see, I have a track record of over 15 years now of showing you the type of work that I'm doing, and this is funding out of my own pocket all of this time. So now I reach out to, I accumulate all of this audience, and I ask people for $1, and people say I should get a job if I need some money.
Wow. So, let me see here.
And that's part of the reason why. People don't ask when they're actually in need for themselves, because of the backlash and the judgment that they will get from people, thinking that, like you said earlier, they're a bum or whatever it is that they will think, because a person is reaching out for support for something that they're trying to put together.
Right.
Even if it's for themselves, where they got a specific need, where it's like something going on, I'm just down on my luck right now. You know what I mean? Like, that's the reason why people don't ask for stuff, because it's like you got all of these people out here that'll judge you before they help. And these are people, mind you, that I've never seen on my page, not even commenting, sharing, supporting in any kind of way. But now you want to deter people who are supporting away from doing it by saying, oh, well, you maybe you need to get a job. You need to go get sell dinners. You need to, like, come on, man. You are the type of person this the problem with our people.
Well,
say it like that.
Right. And so my thought process behind that is that what I like to do is that I know a lot of people are in circumstances where they want to contribute to a thing, they respect it, and that's really the people who I'm talking to, because it gives you an opportunity to do that. My thing is I want to give the community ownership over a lot of the things that I do, because I know that they benefit the community, and because they benefit the community and they will continue to benefit the community, I feel as if people should want to contribute to what will benefit them. I work with and train the community's children, and they're my children as well. But these children live in my community. And so if these children are educated, empowered, and protected, that's however many less children that we have to worry about robbing you, so your community is safer. And so you're making an investment into what we're doing to educate, motivate, and empower black boys to the tune of getting them on a path to success, which minimizes the probability of those young men being involved in something that can be detrimental to the community. You follow what I'm saying? And so you are helping yourself. And it's the same thing with investing in social media. I mean, investing in 7 Mile Media. If you invest in 7 Mile Media, you are increasing the likelihood of receiving information that is helpful and truthful, and you are minimizing, you know what I'm saying, fake news. You are putting yourself, we are creating one more media outlet that is going to bring us truth, where we can make sounder decisions for our family and our community. Even what we're talking about right now, this specific show. This show wouldn't exist if 7 Mile Radio wouldn't exist. This discussion wouldn't exist. And this discussion is an important discussion when you're telling people to go after their dreams and put the job in its proper place and keep that in perspective.
And then on top of that, you know, you may be investing in a platform that may become your grandchild's place of employment, where they're working for another person that looks like you. Now, again, we said earlier, we're not knocking people who have jobs, because every business has an owner. I mean, if you want to be a business owner, you're going to need employees. So again, like, you could be invested in the platform that could grow into the point where now your children or your grandchildren, you know, not only could benefit from the platform in some kind of a way via the information, but also as a place of employment.
Right. And so just to recap, if you, because this also kind of lines up with or correlates with why we financially struggle. We financially struggle because we think that we really do believe that the job is the solution. Your job is the tool. It's only a tool to push you toward the solution. The solution is to be self-sufficient, to be independent, to own your own time, and to be in charge of how you move without having the restrictions of having to punch a clock and be somewhere else where somebody else tells you to be, so you can build wealth for yourself and your children and not build wealth for somebody else and their company. So the job is only one thing that is a part of a bigger agenda. You understand what I'm saying?
You want to create residual income for yourself. You don't have enough time in the day to only make money in the hours that you're working to make the money.
Exactly. Yep.
You got to make money outside of that. You're, like you say, you'll always be in this cycle of working and buying stuff, working and buying. So you'll never have nothing to save unless, you know, you're fortunate enough to maybe have one of those jobs that's paying you a high enough wage where you can put something to the side. But then at the same time, you know, you residual income is how you build wealth.
Yep. Most people work to consume and work to consume, and it's an ongoing cycle. And so I've done workshops on this, and maybe we can set some technology up where I can run through my workshop slides one day and kind of really show them visually what the work to consume to debt cycle looks like. It's work, consume, then you go into debt. And because you're in debt, you have to go to work, and then because when you work, you're gonna consume, and it sends you into debt. And it's like a doom vortex.
Cycle.
Yep, it's a continuous cycle. So there are two things that you must do. Thing number one, if you're going to work, you must allocate 10% of everything you earn to pay yourself. And then over time, you take those savings and you embark upon building and financing your dream of entrepreneurship. Those is step 1 and step 2. Then step 3, you build the business to the point where you can walk away from the job. And then you hire your people. And it's that simple. Pay yourself 10%. Fund your dream with those savings. Build the business up to walk away from the job, and then create opportunities for your people. I'm going to end on that. But I want you guys to seriously consider I want you guys to really think about why it's important to start thinking about your dreams, and why you're never too old to consider your dream. And the job versus dream discussion is something that you really need to have with your children. Teach your children to be entrepreneurs. Teach them to dream big. Teach them that the dream should seem impossible to everybody else. That's when you know you're on the right track. All right? It's a little bit after 12, so I'm going to go ahead and jump off. We started a little late, but we like to try to not go over. So I'm going to get up with y'all next Thursday on Revolutionary Wealth Builders Podcast on 7 Mile Radio. Check us out on YouTube. You can find some of my other content on YouTube at Revolutionary Wealth Builders. Go over there, like, share, and subscribe. Pound that notification bell. And you can also find this podcast on 7 Mile Radio on YouTube /Black Wealth. Or you can go to 7 Mile Radio /Black Wealth to the website, and you can check out this video, or you can check it out on my page on Facebook. So November 12th, the first 48 fundraiser / birthday party for myself. Get your tickets today. Tickets are absolutely running out. I got tickets 70 and 71 in my pocket. I'm getting ready to deliver. I got a couple of more tickets in the car. So you don't want to wait on this one, because I don't even think we're going to be able to sell any room, nothing at the door. And if it's at the door, of course, it would be significantly higher. But I don't even think that there's going to be room for anybody to be able to walk up to the door and say, can I get in? And then you're not going to know where it's at anyway, because the address is on the ticket. Call me, inbox me, text me. Get your ticket before we run out. It's not going to be too much I can do after that. I might have a few spaces left, maybe 10 or 20 people I can put on the guest list after I sell all the rest of the tickets, but it's no guarantee. So get with me. Peace and love. We'll get with y'all next Thursday at 11 a.m. on Revolutionary Wealth Builders on 7 Mile Radio. Peace.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio.
Production.